Virginia Department of Corrections, Red Onion State Prison.
To accept this call, press 0.
This is Randall Via, and I'm currently serving 1,214 years for capital murder in Red Onion State Prison, the state of Virginia in the USA. This is my podcast, Red Onion Randy. I hope you enjoy listening to me today. Well, I actually have a bit of good news. I'm a little bit excited about it. I don't know how much y'all feel about it. I have been recommended for release from a level 6 population down to a level 5 population. Even though it still has to get final approval, I don't see how in the world they could deny me. Though again, they did lock me up in 2012 without a charge from population and kept me in SEG ever since, but we'll see. I've been charge-free for 15 years straight. Actually a little bit over 15 years. I've completed the programs. I've had, a job. I've done everything I can do to work my way down. Now, I'll still be staying here at Red Onion. I'll just simply be going from D building over to either A or B building across the yard. Now, the pod that I'm in now is in D1. It's Sam SIP pod. I'm in the SIP section. The SAM pod, though, I can't tell you what the acronym stands for. I don't even think most officers up here know what it stands for. But the SAM pod is on the bottom tier, and that's guys that have been classified as mental health. The SIP pod is on the top tier, which is where I'm at, and that's classified as guys who have trouble getting along in a general population setting, guys who've been in solitary confinement year after year after year, who don't quite feel comfortable with going straight to the yard, straight into a cell with another man. They can opt for the SIP pod, and which is guaranteed single cell, and you have a guaranteed job while you are in this pod. Though once you leave the pod, you lose your job. It's a good pod. It's been a good pod for me. I've had a few close calls, simply because that's just the nature of prison. That's just the nature of emotions and, the nature of just guys being in here. Some days you just rub somebody the wrong way. Some days somebody says something the wrong way, or you simply take it the wrong way. Either something happens or something doesn't happen. But it's been a good pod for me for the simple fact that, one, it's not solitary confinement. When I leave the cell, I no longer have to wear shackles and handcuffs. I can walk. When it's time for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, they will open the doors for everybody on the top tier. We'll step out. They'll give you a couple minutes. They'll close the doors, and you'll walk down. You'll get your tray, and, they've been pretty cool about that. So, I rarely ever eat a tray. Normally, I just eat a ramen noodle, and that's it. That's my meal. But so because I don't eat those trays, I can just simply find somebody in the pod that doesn't really have much, which I do for this dude named Miles. I'll give him my tray. Say, hey, man, you want this? And, 9 times out of 10, he takes it. So, you have little privileges like that. You get 1 hour of pod rec, and that's in the pod, and that's when you can come out with your tier. You can use the kiosk to send emails or buy music or games or whatever. You can use the phone, and you can take a shower. Or you can just, simply, walk around, talk, or, by yourself. It doesn't matter. That's whatever you kind of want to do for that hour, you can do. Then you get 4 hours of outside rec. 2 hours in the morning time and 2 hours in the afternoon from 1 to 3. And then you're locked down for the rest of the day. So going across the yard from D building to, I'm assuming they're going to put me in A building, because A3 is a small pod that has single cells in that entire pod. Every cell only has one bunk. I'm assuming that that's the pod they're going to put me in. It's a general population pod, but it's, for guys who need single cell. And I've made it abundantly clear. I've been in solitary for 15 years. I've been, almost 15 years. Sorry about that. I've been in a single cell by myself for a little bit over 15 years. If you put me in a cell with another human being, I don't care. You could put me in a cell with one of the most beautiful females in the world. I wouldn't be able to adjust. I wouldn't be able to get along. You put me in a cell with another man, another criminal, and I don't know this dude. This dude don't know me. I don't have no trust for him. I'm going to get paranoid. And as soon as I become paranoid, as soon as I go to lay down to sleep, and I'm like, you know what, man, I can't sleep with this dude in the pod. That's it. Conversation is over with. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to gear up. I'm going to put clothes on. I'm going to put my shoes on. I'm going to lace them up tight. And I'm going to look at dude and I'm going to tell him straight up, yo, look, man, pack your stuff. Hit the button, because they got a little intercom in the cell for you to call the booth, though 9 times out of 10, the booth don't ever answer. And, yo, man, you check in. You ain't staying in the cell. Simple as that. I don't trust you. I can't sleep with you in here, man. Your ass up out of here. And I've made that clear because I come from a very, very violent background. I know when I first got to Wallens Ridge, this was back in 2000, July. I got there July 4th, so this was maybe the end of July or the first week of August of 2000 in Wallens Ridge in Big Stone Gap, Virginia, which is it's like maybe 20, 30 miles from where Red Onion is. There was a guy that got to arguing with his cellie. So he just kind of fell back and just, quit saying something. So I guess, his cellie thought he punked dude down, he chumped him down or whatever, and he went on about his business. Well, the dude that just quit talking, he went out for pod rec, and he paid the houseman like 2 packs of cigarettes to get him a 20-ounce cup of wax. So housemen did what all housemen do when you pay them. They get you what you want. So that night, his cellie goes to sleep. And he wraps a T-shirt around eyes and ears to block out the light, to block out the sound, to help you sleep better. Pretty much we all do it. So the guy takes a stinger and he drops it down in the wax, and he gets that wax boiling hot. It's bubbling. He unplugs the stinger, takes it out, grabs the cup, and he walks over to his cellie and says, yo, dude, wake up. You got to see this. Wake up. You got to see this. So his cellie wake up like, yo, what? He pulled a T-shirt off his eyes. As soon as he pulls the T-shirt off his eyes, the guy pulls boiling wax right in his eyeballs, all over his face, his nose, mouth. Just starts screaming. He starts trying to wipe the wax out of his eyes. And look, when you have something that thick, that viscous, and it's boiling hot, you can't wipe it off. The only thing you do is smear it around, and he was just smearing, just peeling off chunks of skin and meat. It blinded him. He lost both of his eyes. It totally messed this dude up. So with me being in solitary confinement, me knowing about stuff like this, me knowing about guys that, when they get to beefing or fighting with someone, you can't go to sleep in the cell because, you'll have guys with the quickness while you sleep, especially if you happen to be on a top bunk, they'll grab you while you're asleep, yank you off the top bunk, slam you on the concrete, and start putting boots to you. And when you come out of a dead sleep, slam into the concrete, and dude starts kicking you, the only thing you can do is curl up in a ball and hope to God he don't stomp you to death or stab you to death. Because you're ass out. I don't care who you are, don't care how big you are, how tough you are, you're at a complete disadvantage. Dude's got you. So I've made that abundantly clear. Look, I want to go to population. I wanted to go to general population for years and years and years. So thankfully, they have a pod now where I can do that. And I'm hoping that's where they put me as A3. But they did tell me, the warden himself, Rick White, told me on the rec yard last week that I would be going, regardless of where I go to, they're going to put me in a single cell starting off. And he said he didn't know whether I would be in a single cell for 1 year or 10 years. Eventually, I'm going to have a cellie. But, starting off, they're going to keep me in a single cell. So I'm actually rather excited to go over to either A building or B building. I'd rather not go to B building. B building is a little bit more wide open. It's a little bit more wild than A building is. And I would rather, just kind of skip some of the foolishness. I'm 42 years old. I'm not in my teens no more. I'm not in my 20s. And while I am in the best shape of my life, and I have plenty of confidence when it comes to my fight game, I don't want to go through that. I don't want to deal with that. I'm too old for that crap. To quote what's his name from Lethal Weapon? Murtaugh, that's his name, Murtaugh. So I hope I go to A3. Hopefully I can get a job, because I really don't want to go back to being hungry again, because that's going to suck, or being forced to eat the trays. That's really going to suck. But I'm excited about it. I don't want to just sit here and spend, my whole time complaining of this or that. I'm actually excited about it. I'm looking forward to it because, even though on that side of the yard it might not be quite as good as it is on this side of the yard, one, I'll get a lot more rec. I don't know how they do the outside rec. I don't know if they get it 1 hour every day or 1 hour 3 days a week or how the outside rec works. But I've heard that the pod rec, you get an hour, because they only let the pods out about one tier at a time. So the top tier and the bottom tier never come out at the same time. So the bottom tier come out right after breakfast for 1 hour. Then they'll get locked back in the cells, and the top tier come out for 1 hour. Then the bottom tier come back out. Then the top tier come back out. Then they'll feed lunch. And then after count clears, at 1 o'clock, they'll either pull outside rec or they'll start pulling pod rec. And then, they'll put you down, I think, around 4 o'clock or so. And then around 6:30 in the afternoon, they'll let you out for like an hour or hour and a half each tier. So I'll get a lot more pod rec. The only real concern that I have is when it comes time for me to use the phone so I can, either talk to family, friends, do my podcast, or I go to try to get, to the kiosk to send some emails, get emails. You have, some little gangbanger simply thinks because there's 15 or 16 of him, his crew, his homies, and the pod with him, that means he can run things. You can't run me. I have no backup or give or quit in me. I say it all the time because it's true. So if a guy pulls up on me and say, hey, yo, man, you got to pay me, white boy, to use the phone or the kiosk, yeah, that's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'll do my absolute best to be like, yo, look, man, dude, I'm telling you right now, man, this ain't a ride you want to ride. I've been doing this for 30 years. I've got a jacket that would make you piss your pants, boy. Walk away while you can. But at the same time, I don't want to be too aggressive neither, because then I'm kind of forcing them to have to do something. And like I said, I don't want to put myself in that position, in that situation, because I have a lot of good things going for me. And I don't want to have to come on my podcast 2-3 weeks later and explain to you, hey, yeah, unfortunately I got to fight in and blah, 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 blah. Because then, basically everything I've said, everything I've been teaching and trying to help people with and trying to help myself with at the same time, it's like I lose credibility. And I'm afraid of losing credibility because I say what I mean and I mean what I say, whether I'm right or wrong. Look, if I'm wrong about something and somebody points it out to me, I'll ride with that. My producer, Michael, can vouch for that. I've said a couple of wrong things before, and he's, afterwards pulled me to the side and said, hey, yo, look, blah, blah, and he explained it to me. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I went back and I changed some things because I was wrong out of ignorance. I wasn't wrong simply because I was wrong or stupid or trying to be something that I wasn't. So credibility to me is very, very important. So you have gang leaders in the pod that will simply tell a new recruit, and they're doing everything in their power to recruit as many people into their gang as possible, because that gives the gang leaders more power, more authority. It gives them more foot soldiers. It gives them more security. So they'll simply tell a guy, look, you want in, you got to make your bones. Go over there and take dude out right now. And if dude wants in the gang, he's got to do that. And if he doesn't do it, if he refuses, they all turn on him. Because I have a reputation. Because I'm known to stand my ground. I kind of make an easy target a little bit. And that, that does concern me simply because, being in a general population setting, being around these type of guys, what if something like that happens to me and I go to SEG for however long, and I eventually contact my friends and say, hey, look, I'm really sorry I wasn't able to write you or call you, in the last several weeks simply because, I got to fight and this dude came up and, and what if they don't believe me? What if, for whatever reason, I wind up losing a friend because of something somebody else did trying to impress somebody else? I kind of have these concerns that I think about. And it's important. I don't want to worry about it, and I don't want to be afraid of it. I'm going over there with as positive a mindset as I can, because I know positivity breeds positive results. But at the same time, I also know that you kind of want to be aware of what could happen and think about things that could happen so you can prepare yourself mentally, emotionally, and physically for doing so, for dealing with that, so you don't get caught flat-footed. That's a little bit of my concern of being released down to level 5 population. But the good thing is that's one step closer to leaving Red Onion State Prison. That's one step closer getting to a medium security prison where I can live a whole lot better, get way more privileges, and so on and so forth.
You have 1 minute remaining.
So I'm going over there with my head held high. I'm going to keep to myself, and I'm not going to screw it up. But at the same time, ain't nobody going to bitch me up neither. So I'd appreciate if you pray for me and send me good vibes. I'm going to need them. This has been Red Onion Randy. I hope you enjoy listening to me. For those of you who listen to me on Apple Podcasts, I would appreciate it if you would review me and rate me, preferably 5 stars, but I'll take whatever you think I'm worth. And for those of you who have done it already, God bless you. I truly appreciate you helping me out. Please check out my website, redonionrandy.com. Take care. Stay safe.
Thank you for using GTL.